With Gorazd, we started Ljubljana Talks when COVID was at its peak. And we said, okay, how can we create content and share content and talk about everything that we were experiencing during COVID when nobody was talking about it. We started on a platform which today hardly even exists. If you still remember what was the name of the project? Oh yeah, Clubhouse. So anyone still uses Clubhouse? Yeah. Anyone? There you go, you see? So we are no longer on Clubhouse as well. So we switched to YouTube. And so you can find all of our sessions on YouTube. And so, I'm trying to find...
Yeah, maybe we should start with our own fuck-up today. Oh, no. Yeah. The practice we have that we have equal gender, that we have gender equality during such talks. So guys, I feel sorry. Ladies, I feel sorry about it. Yeah. This is a man's talk now today, so... I know. I expect that. Angeles? I expect that. Because
my colleague was supposed to join.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm responsible for all fuck-ups, so it's okay.
No, we had actually a few of them that we invited, but unfortunately none of them had the time to come. So we had a lady also from Metal Camp that was supposed to join us, and we invited our colleague from Piranha Agency. She did the Harley Davidson last year. But unfortunately, they're all busy, so our industry is, booming, which is good. So we're happy for them, and they, So it was definitely not designed to be a men's-only discussion. So everybody in the audience, of course, welcome to put in any questions. It's an open debate. And yes, fuck-ups. What an amazing story to have. And so we have some amazing guests today. Of course, Boris KOVAČEK, Gašer, PAVLI, Ivan PETROVIĆ, and Thiemo GILLISSEN, yeah? Yes. So we're very happy to have you. Oh, there you go. Everybody's there. The questions coming in.
But let me start with the first one. Good. It feels like you enjoy these fuck-ups, that you feel good, it feels great. Can you explain this? This is a kind of sadomaso situation. I mean, it feels like that. I don't know.
There's the mic. There you go.
Yeah, right. But now when I'm talking about it 10 years after,
yeah, okay.
I didn't want to have all these fuck-ups, and I am trying not to have any more. So,
okay.
And just to comment on why you don't have ladies in an audience, it's your fuck-up. But again, this is because only guys are doing fuck-ups. Lady is never wrong. That's what I learned from my wife.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. I stole this one from him.
But this is the question for all of you, yeah. So, Ivan.
Yeah, my wife too. Well, that's why I agree with this. We are always responsible for all fuck-ups. Basically, we are enthusiasts, as Boris said. Now, I am thinking why, because we are proud that we survived it. That's like because the more scars you have, the more stronger you feel. So I can speak for days like what we have over our minds from the situations. Like one addition that festival is last night. We are all super happy. Prodigy is on. Everybody super excited. Then Dušan grabbed your hand. Lose that beer, come with me. And what happens? The guys were people dig the tunnel in the fortress to get in for free, and the whole show up next to the bridge, which is like over 30,000 people. Like, and I was like sober in the moment, and then like put security to free all that area to secure it. So this kind of situation happen all the time. But at the end, if you survive that, then you can do anything. Now, whatever happens, I was like, okay, no problem. There is no situation that can, because your level of tolerance is so high that whatever happens, you will find some solution. Or so that's. But you get the gray hair and everything from it. That's typical. Yeah, and you learn from it. That's the most important. If you are clever, of course. Exactly. Sometimes you have to repeat the mistakes.
Thiemo, what do you think about it? What can you comment on that? On this sadomaso enjoyment with the...
I think it's part of the industry to if all the especially if a lot of preparation time goes into making an event happen, there's a lot of condensed energy, and it's just natural that not everything works out the way that you plan for it.
Gašper.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take some time, please, because you represented fuck-ups already and I haven't. My colleague was supposed to be here from Sporto conference, so I'm like from Sport Media Focus Agency. He fucked up completely and he didn't show up. So I think he wins. But no, why we love fuck-ups? I love it from now on. So I was introduced to fuck-ups like 10 minutes ago. You made it. You made it that I fell in love with fuck-ups. And I feel like, okay, are we like in a psychological couch? You know, Freud is here and we just talk about, you know, we love what we fucked up. So I just want to share something very quickly because I want to get in line with you guys. It was like 2010. I was an ex-tennis player and I started to manage another tennis player who was first in Slovenia, reached top 100 ATP. His name was Blaž Kavčič, and I organized my first event, press conference. No press conferences in tennis that time. He was like 80 in the world, and we signed a big sponsorship contract with biggest company, PETROVIĆ. That was like a big thing. 30 people came, like from media, reporters, photographers. The TV was there. The Sternweise tour catching in. It was a big thing in tennis. So it was going great. Like Djokovic was announcing him because he's the same age. It was going great, and then we come to the main moment, signing the contract. It was big contract, sponsorship. And they come there, the president of PETROVIĆ comes on the stage, Blaž comes on the stage, they sit on the table, and the moderator looks at me and, where's the contract? And I'm like, fuck, there's no contract. So they came to sign the contract and I didn't bring the contract.
Same story as with the football.
So yeah, there was it was a football. And then just where's a piece of paper? It's here. Just pretend, guys. And the photographers just don't shoot. So it was a fuck up. And I love the fuck ups from now on, definitely.
Top. But imagine that you are, and I'm allowed to talk about that because I know colleague Nika very well. You organize metal days. The weather report is terrible. It looks that you will cancel the headliners of the show the last 2 days, and then suddenly the place get flooded, you know, and you evacuated 20,000 metalheads fighting against the nature. What should you do even before the event? And the question for you is, what should you do inside the event? What should you do after event? This is a question for you, Thiemo. And what should you do next year to protect your event? This is a serious question, guys. Sorry.
Take the catch box. Yeah.
You can take the catch box. Ivan, so let's start with you. What should we do before the event to protect ourselves and our events?
Yeah, for the outdoor events, the weather, it could be very, very challenging stuff. We had the worst year was that flood year when we had like three days of non-stop raining. The good thing is that because we are having people coming from over the 110 countries all over the world, so the most of them, if they buy tickets and travel so long, they show up with, you know, with all these, you know, things, and then we try to create like a joke, like it's a mud party, but fortunately we didn't have many of these days. And one funny story, we was in Kuala Lumpur once. We also had invitation to organize event there, and because they have this monsoon season frequently, and you asked him what's happened if there is this heavy raining, like, and he said, "Oh, that's no problem. You just hire a shaman for $150, and he will resolve the weather." And we said, "But okay, can we use it for exit?" No, it doesn't work long distance. You just you have to bring him in. So at the end, there are some people who are doing that actually, and sometimes when we are desperate, we are also approaching them. So I'm kidding, but the thing is that's the most important thing is security at the first. Because we are responsible for 50,000 people at the point, and we have like huge security study, which is over 600 pages with all contingency planning, evacuation, bed, stampedo, storm. So there is no, if storm is coming, you have to evacuate everything. That happens like few years ago, last day on Sunday, in 6 p.m. the terrible storm hit it, and luckily we are opening gates at 8, so it happens before. But then we postponed the opening for I think 10 and 11 when it's stopped earlier. But then you have to clear the area because with the storm everything is flying, the branding, the stands, the trees and everything. So if that happens, you have to or close it or postpone it or evacuate. There is no other way because everything basically could kill somebody from the tree. We have actually few of them fell on the police cars, which was parked on the venue. So yeah, that's that's why I'm so jealous of these indoor events. You see, like on this weather, we will like in big troubles, but you are safe. So
Super, Boris. During the event, what should we do actually? So.
Yeah, when it's fuck up, you have to improvise it. There is no other way, because if you thought of it, it wouldn't be a fuck up, right? Yeah. You prepare for it. So you have to be Mr. Wolf, as I said in my presentation. You have to think about it, and you have to. I told my story about one flag missing on this same opening of the Asian Games. So I ran to hotel and put it down. I don't know why I thought of it, but it's part of me that thought of some stupid things like that. Same with about the weather. I have another funny story about the same event in Oman. So I'm presenting it to the chairman of Olympic Committee of Oman, who right now is the Sultan of Oman. I met him, very proud to say, a very intelligent person, very good guy, and he asked me, so what if it rains? It's outdoor, and I never thought about what if it rains. And I asked him, how many rainy days do you have in Oman? He said 3. No wonder I didn't. And I wanted to say, so fuck it. But I couldn't, because I have to say, Your Highness, fuck it. But then I said, but we cannot have second plan. There is no second. Its odds are 3 on 365. So you cannot have plan for that. So sometimes you just have to pray or whatever you do. If you don't believe, just hope.
Do you have a shaman? Yeah, that's the question.
I haven't found one yet. Give me the number.
Thiemo, after the event.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say, luckily, I'm one of the guys who hosts indoor events only, so we aren't as exposed to those risks. But this morning we heard about the concept of human-centered design, and I think that's a pretty interesting idea to get this method together with your team and do what's called a pre-mortem. So just take a few days and think of all the crazy scenarios that could happen, to emphasize that and get into the heads of your sponsors, your participants, your crew, whoever's there, your speakers, and think of how did they really go through and how do they experience the whole journey, and sort of reverse engineer it, what has to happen and what could happen in order for to avoid a worst case or a bad case scenario. Of course, it's not always possible, but at least I think that's a helpful method to, if you have enough time to prepare, at least.
And Gašer, a year after.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think like maybe, okay, we organize big sport events. But last week I was in Copenhagen, and they organized badminton world championships last week. And then they met on that day, they had a workshop with 40 people. And I was, okay, so what is about? Oh, we are bidding for 2030. So it's like 2023. They're organizing already event, but they need to plan 7 years ahead. And I was like, okay, so maybe weather, yeah, is something, but time is the other thing I would maybe point out, because it's funny, eh? We always have time, but it's always last minute. So time management, it's unbelievable. But then on the other hand, we had a case last year also with similar as you, when event was in Russia, was cancelled because of the war. Second time they invaded Ukraine last year, and the World Championships in volleyball was cancelled in April. And they said, okay, let's be organized in Slovenia and Poland. So in April was announced, before they were taking decisions, it was end of April, then you have the summer, and in September it should happen in Ljubljana. So usually we have like 2 years, and now we had 3 months with the summer holidays in between. And it was another thing where time becomes, we think it runs always this, but maybe you can catch some loops. And what we did is said, okay, we're not going to have no meetings. We just work. So no local organizing committee, no talks. We just, okay, we organize these events for 15 years. We bring best people together. We trust them. Just go for it, work. We have no time. So sometimes the trust is it's a good one.
Trust definitely is an important thing. Now, the question I have for all of you, when a fuck up happens, right? So, and you find a solution, how do you make sure that you don't repeat that fuck up? You said you have the protocol, so the way you describe it is more like an aviation company, you know, with all the case studies of all the airline accidents so that you know what went wrong before. Would you do that? Would you revise that document? How does it work?
Thanks. Yeah, basically, this which I said, this is a security study. So with security, you have to be like #1 priority. Everything else could happen or not. But basically, the one big truth is that if you are having a big event, and if you have any mistakes or fuck-ups and everything, 90% of the people will not notice it if it is not a critical activity. For example, if the headliner doesn't show up or there is no electricity on the stage, something very huge is a problem. All our other problems, 90% of all this never see it. And we are stressing out like for everything. And then through the years we learned critical process must run, and you do a double check or trouble check on them. Everything else is floating. So that's a good thing about the fuck ups. There is only few really critical fuck ups which endanger the whole thing. And what we also learned that there is a solution for every problem, and you have to have that kind of mindset. And only if you have that kind of mindset, you can do this, be in this business. We are blessed in Balkans for one thing, because we are living in the permanent crisis. So we are get used to in the focus on a regular level to the history. So we are expecting it. We are there, and we don't.
It's a part of the planning,
it's
right?
a part of the show. So I can tell a few stories, like when we did with Yoko Ono. We want to mark the anniversary of 100 years of signing of the first of the peace of the First World War, because it started with Austria-Serbia conflict. So we made the project First World War, First World War peace. Sorry. So we want to celebrate peace and make a peace monument in the fortress where the exit is happening. And then we somehow, because Yoko Ono is the biggest name living of the peace movement, there was a huge stress to find her, to pursue her, to do the monument, and to give us a discount 10 times, because she liked the idea of this evolution of reconciliation and everything. And then the first price was $500,000, but at the end they gave us for 50,000. And then we accepted, and we are so super happy. We gathered the money, fundraise for everybody. The project was announced. Everything was super cool. At the end, her agent just said, okay, just give us the insurance, what do you say, insurance policy for the monument. And we never erected the monument, like public monument. And we said, okay, let's see with our insurance companies. And then we figured out that all insurance companies in Serbia are not offering that services, like to insure us the public monument. And I asked the guys, but how do you protect the public monument? They said, we don't. When it's destroyed, we just build a new one. And I was like postponing this agent. The insurance policy is coming, so we were thinking what to do, how to. There is no
translating it. Right?
There is no disservice in this part of the world. At the end, we make this story that because Exit Foundation is behind it, we will take care of it. No insurance policy can guarantee what we can do. We are offering our. So we write this crazy letter, bullshit letter, and they said, this is quite odd. It's not by the contract, but we said, but we did everything for this, and we will protect it with our body and everything. At the end, we were so annoying. They said, okay, let's do it anyway. So you have to find a solution if there is no one. That's the only way. But as I told you, we in the Balkans, we are get used to it. So it's ordinary. Like Boris find the flag in the hotel, of course, or this whatever.
Boris, how do you learn to
Well,
never
there is
repeat the
no,
mistakes.
there like in any relationship, there is no life without fuck ups. So I will. He said we are on Balkans. I will connect it with Slovenia and skiing. I'm a skier and I fell every year I go to skiing. I come injured. I think that you cannot be good skier if you don't fall. You cannot push the limits if you don't fall. And you don't fall. So every good skier falls now and then because
agree with that,
you
the audience?
push the limit. Yeah. So there is no learning without no pain, no gain. I don't know how to say it. You have, if you played for sure, like when my kids were young, they are like every day after skiing, how many times you fell? And one is saying none, and I'm saying like you're not good skier. You have to fail. But really, because
love,
you have to
tough
try harder slope, you have to try harder way to go through slope. If you don't try harder, then you will not fall and you will stay bad forever.
Thiemo, do you ski?
I snowboard, and I also fall every year. I think my answer is straightforward. It's checklists for everything and improve them every year with all the findings. And we'll always.
Can I comment? Thiemo is getting older, you know. He started the festival when he was 17 years old. 1-7. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes? So now you are getting more structured. Okay. I'm
More
just
German.
commenting this. Okay. We know each other, so I can comment this.
Learnings. But I just want to go back to previous question because I remember now, like before the events, I remembered Wimbledon championships. They were paying insurance company for 100 years, some crazy insurance fee. What if COVID will come? Not COVID, but something like that. No one else was paying that, but yeah, they were paying 100 years. So when all 4 Grand Slams were canceled, they lost like hundreds of millions, and they gained more money than if they organized it. So it was a good one, like you know, insuring something. But then I wanted to say something else. I forgot. Maybe I'll remember later. About what was the question?
How do you make sure you don't have any more fuck-ups?
Oh yeah, I think
repeat the
I'm coming back to this psychotherapy session here because you study event management, all the theory, it works well, the checklists, everything is okay. But come on, guys, you know, organizing all the conferences, and we live in society where you have to be perfect. Yeah. How are you? Oh, fine, great. How is it going? Oh, everything is great. How was the event? Amazing. Nobody wants to talk or even publish on social accounts something bad because we need to be perfect. So talking about fuck-ups, that's a good thing, good move. And I think that's maybe something where we can also see, okay, we're not the only one fucking up. So yeah.
Yeah, it really looks like therapy.
Yeah,
So that's a moment when you can ask some questions, I think so. It's time for you. Huh? Do you agree with that? Okay.
Absolutely, and we've got actually some really cool questions, 14 of those, so feel free to vote on those. But I'll start, because Boris, you were talking that you're in this business to make money, right? The audience is asking, did your clients ever come back to you after your fuck-ups?
Okay. Did my clients come? Of course. For example, I worked on one Gillette event. We were supposed to have a jet ski race, and guy who was trying it ran into the stone and broke the jet ski, and I had to pay for it. So you pay for your fuck-ups, just like in life. If you don't do something, it's payment. It's like pay time. I don't know. Then you have to compensate. Once I had a best website award where we put a huge screen. LED screens weren't invented yet, so we have to connect 3 10,000 luminous projectors, and of course the middle one broke in the middle of everything. So I had to do that event twice again for no money at all. So yes, you lose money, but if it's your fuck up and I'm now doing only fuck ups for myself, then I punish myself differently. So this is the idea of my presentation is if you are risking all of it, if you are stressed so much, our job is very stressful. There is no way you can avoid fuck-ups, no checklists. I'm sorry, I tried it. But there is always something that you are stressful about. So if being stressful, then be it for your gain, not somebody else's. That's it.
Top. We have more questions?
So we have the second most favorite question upvoted. So gentlemen, you shared some pretty amazing fuck-ups. The audience is asking, on a scale from 1 to Fire Festival, how big was your biggest fuck-up? So out of all those that you shared, or maybe some that you haven't, which one was the biggest?
You're like in a fire business.
Yeah, I'm just counting like, the biggest fuck-ups are those, of course, if there is somebody harmed or something like that, we had also a few cases, but outside the festival zone, and that's like, but for 22 years we had maybe 2 cases of like deaths on the festival. So that's the biggest one, but I'm taking responsibility, even if it's not our responsibility. If it was outside, that was, everything else is repellable. Like you can, the biggest one is this with the financial loss, when you recount yourself, because our performances are very expensive, like this Killers one, it was like €1 million fee, which didn't repay at all. So we have to work for years to get this money back. Basically, that's, and I forgot to answer your question, how do you not repeat it? You not repeat it because you have this in your bones. If this situation show up immediately, you get like, oh, no, we're not going to do it again. So we are not writing, but this feeling like we do this forestation thing. If we are ever in contact with these activists, like, whoa, let's see everything. So you have this strange feeling in your stomach, which is like knife is in your stomach, so it prevents you from doing it again, basically.
Okay, guys, we are running out of time, as far as I know. So, is there any other questions from the audience?
Let's take one more from the audience.
Okay.
But take a look into the app, because we've got 2 winners, and let's vote on the last one that we are going to ask this panel. Okay. So we have addressed the first one. Did your clients ever come back to you after your fuck-ups? Who posted this one, actually?
Me.
You? Fantastic. We promised you the awards, so this is for you. Give her a clap. The second one, on a scale from 1 to Fire, how big was your biggest fuck-up? Who was that? Thank you. You're gonna get it. I'm going to get it to you afterwards. So you get a second one. And let's vote for the third question. And we're going to ask it to the panelists, and also that person is going to get the last odpadneš product. Okay. So, okay, let's take this one. Any experiences with online fuck-ups except for the bad connection? Who was it? Who posted this one? Posted this one. Gentleman over there, the prize is yours. Give him a round of applause. Thank you, everybody, for posting the questions, 14. And the question goes to the panelists. So, any experiences with online fuck-ups except for the bad connection?
Live event, I don't know. Didn't really have online.
Okay, we cannot answer this question.
Everything is great with online events. You're not there, so you don't give a fuck. So I hate not live events, so don't have a problem.
So today's session, in a way, here at Conventa Crossover, this is like the essence of meetings. This is like, people around the fireplace, in the cave saying, oh, don't eat the dead berry. He ate that berry, he's dead now. So this is how we learn, how we share those things that we can evolve. So, this was great. So thank you very much.
But we have the last questions for your short ones. We always do that. For you, Novak Djokovic versus Rafa Nadal. Just your feeling. You can choose, you can comment, whatever.
Yeah, Rafa Nadal. Sorry.
Can you elaborate this?
Yeah, which level? Well, I was partly on the circuit, like going around with first myself and then with the player, And it's not like, are you a fan or not fan? But when you go inside, like in between your colleagues, your peers, your competitors, they like Rafa more. He's like, you know, in between the circles. I'm not talking about outside. So yeah, people like him, and Djokovic is always dividing somehow, on a good way. But yeah, for me.
Thanks.
Beer or wine?
Oh, wine, definitely. I'm sorry for the beer guy. He's still here.
So for you, sea or mainland?
See, definitely. If you're talking about events, I like most the seaside events.
Okay. And for you, HR events or food events?
Food events. Give me a harder one.
Skiing or swimming then?
Skiing, of course. Since we're in Slovenia.
Big applause for our guest today, and that was the 35th edition of Ljubljana Talks. Thanks a lot to everybody.
Thank you.